Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown featuring Cry is Free, leading the edgy forces of the Dark Elves up against Narrowthington and the Slaughterhorn tribe of the Beastmen. Should be a good fun game though. Both these factions have had changes. Of course, the Beastmen, massive changes across the board. But for the Dark Elves, Mama MORATHI has indeed been buffed. I know that's crazy to say. She was already the most powerful Dark Elf Lord, but she has got even better. Her items have been changed slightly, but the biggest increase, of course, is that area effect spells have got far better, and you can roll her just with Soul Stealer. So coming with Soul Stealer and all her items and buffs, I believe she does come in at a cost of, I believe it's 2,485 gold. I'll have to double check that. I have that number written down, so maybe it's for her, maybe it's not. We'll have a little look at the end. But yeah, she is so powerful right now. Anti-large, fast-moving, armor-piercing, and Soul Stealer to heal herself up and tank big blobs of enemies down. Very cool to see how she performs here today. Let's score on her. We have a couple of Ferromance cores, one on either side, so this is the ice power way of playing. Coming in with triple Scourge Runner chariots as well to help aid and support take down some of the large creatures the Beastmen do have to offer. We have Dark Riders on the flanks. It looks like 4 units total, and then a mixture of Bleak Swords as well as Witch Elves dotted through the front line. Big fan of Witch Elves in general, as well as the Sisters of Singing Doom here, the Regiment of Renown version. Mainly due to their fact to rampaging units into Spearmen is always very powerful. These guys have a really cool colour scheme that I never noticed before. That was really badass. Cool. I don't know if these guys have had a paint job or if they just are looking as cool as ever, and I just never really appreciated them before. For the forces of the Beastmen, we do have some good old Chaos Warhounds of Poison out on the flanks. Front line is going to be made up of Gore Herds looking to rip and tear into the Dark Elf battle lines. They've got some Ungors for support as well. There's a couple of units of Ungor Raiders, and it looks like this Beastman player is designed to play Beastmen a little bit different, sitting back with the Eye of Morslib as a long-range artillery piece. We have Tuskor Chariots. We also have Centaurs with great weapons and basic Centaurs to support. Taurox the Brass Bull, who is an absolute beast of a melee combatant. We'll even give MORATHI a bit of a run for her money, despite the fact she, of course, is anti-large. And we have a Wargore Chariot. And this is a Wargore on a Tuskor Chariot. Tuskor Chariots not only look very cool, kind of very Muppet-esque, they're very powerful at the moment. Their splash attacks are a little bit bugged, so the Wargore can obviously bring the pain. Coming in with Will of the Dark Gods to buff nearby troops, as well as Primal Fury, of course, by being a Beastman. We're on a huge open map here, so both forces should get a good look at each other before they do have to fully engage. MORATHI, though, is just beelining straight towards the battlefield, gliding ahead of the rest of her force. Ferromance cores, I love their new little symbol. A lot of units have got new symbols, particularly the monstrous ones, and Ferromance cores are pretty damn cool indeed. I like the new artwork on them as well as the cooling cards. Big Rock Drop comes in, aiming at the Scourge Runner chariots, but completely whiffs and misses. We are going to see that wand come down on the Wargore, just testing the Beastman player's micro, but I think he's going to be able to dodge this if he's paying attention. He does start to wheel out the way and takes absolutely no damage there. So MORATHI with a swing and a miss. Scourge Runner Chariots don't have too much counterplay here by the Beastmen forces. They do have the Ungor Raiders as well as the Cygor, but Cygor doesn't tend to be very good at hitting troops such as this. Ferromance cores getting a good old view of the battlefield, spying out to the enemy opposition at the moment. On this far side, Dark Riders have been engaged here with a mixture of Chaos Warhounds and Centaurs. This is not going to go well for the forces of Dark Elves. Centaurs cleaving them asunder, but they have indeed blobbed up. And this is where MORATHI comes in, a horribly terrible situation. Dark Riders getting beat back, both units break, and MORATHI comes in, hits him with a Soul Stealer, and all of a sudden that trade is considerably less bad for the Dark Elves. Centaurs, though, not doing terrible, but up against MORATHI, they will certainly struggle. Scourge Runner Chariots may want to float out to that side, but looks like at the moment they are being pushed back by Tuskors, Taurox, as well as the Wargore. In the back line, Mancors are making a glorious little meat sandwich with the Cygor in the middle. Should be able to drag it down. Mancors hit like an absolute roided up truck. And yeah, they you can see do very good work there to the eye. But Taurox is on the way back, and Taurox will be able to handle Mancors without too much of a threat, though MORATHI is on her way. As you can see on this side, Centaurs did take a bit of a beating there from MORATHI, but breaking off at both Dark Riders certainly was a worthwhile trade. And a lot of the Dark Elf forces are simply struggling to catch up. They're trying to hunt down this Wargore and Tuskor chariots, and just little bits and pieces scrapping all over the battlefield. Dark Riders will countercharge the Centaurs, not going to go very well for the Dark Riders, particularly completely outnumbered by the double Centaurs, and we even have some Ungor herds charging back. their colour scheme looking pretty brutal and Khorne-esque. Morathi's trying their best up against the Eye of Morslib with the help of the Manticores, who do decide, you know what, we're going to fall back, because one of them actually gets shattered by the presence of Taurox. Another Soul Seer does go down, catching all of the infantry, plus once again, those two Centaurs. Morathi and the Manticore now duking some shots with deftly dodging skills. Blixswords are going to be pushing up. Looks like the Wargore has found himself in a tricky situation. He's a bit of a world beater at the moment, up to 35 kills, but if the Witch Elves can rampage him, he's not going to be having a good time up against all this Scourge Runner pressure. And a lot of the Dark Elf forces are currently just isolated, chasing off chariots, but they need to be over here supporting Morathi and those Manticores, otherwise it's not going to be a very good end to the battle. But the Manticore and Morathi look at the moment to be having things relatively under control if they can get up into the skies, and luckily for them, some Blixswords arrive just in time to try to allow Morathi to get up. Taurox giving her a bit of a helping hand out of the enemy, even clearing the path there. What a gentleman. Taurox the Brass Bull is a true legend here to help Morathi out of the Blobfest. She's lost a bucket ton of HP at the moment. A wand is going to come down on the Wargore, although it looks like it may... No, this one does connect. Manticore probably wants to dart down and help her, as she is struggling up against the might of the Wargore here. Witch Elves desperately trying to chase Taurox the Brass Bull. Scourge Runner chat now focusing down the eye, and the Dark Elves, yeah, overextending quite heavily on this flank, need to bring these troops back, otherwise it's going to get very, very messy. The Wargore is terrified at the moment and nearly killed, down to just 200 HP. Morathi just about clinging on as Taurox does engage with the Feral Manticore, and that is not going to go well for the Manticore whatsoever, but with the support here of the Witch Elves, maybe, just maybe, they can drag down this creature of brass, fury, and just bloody ruin. Morathi does hunt down some Ungor herds, and once again the Beastmen player is going to start to blob up here, as well as being rampaged by those Witch Elves. So another Soul Sealer could be massive right about now, because Taurox, despite having Brass Body popped, is being hunted down by the Scourge Runner chariots, and they're doing some really lovely damage now to Taurox himself. The Centaurs vibing in the back here, likewise the Ungor Raiders. Eye of Morslib just going for a bit of a stroll. He doesn't have the best targets though. I mean, throwing into Morathi might not be the worst idea, or the chariots, just trying to get the damage in when the odd shot does indeed connect. Taurox Brass Bull eats a charge from the Feral Manticore. He can't get out of the way anymore because he is of course out of control and rampaging. But a good old double slice of those axes, carving bloody scars into the Feral Manticore, which is certainly going to be running for its life relatively soon. Morathi is still going strong though, up to 135 kills so far. Scourge Runner chariots can't really get any closer and still fire shots in. Soul Sealer is going to be going down, trying to finish off the Brass Bulls. It looks like more Scourge Runners have floated out to this side, and on the back burners, Scourge Runners are running over Ungor Raiders. Luckily for the Dark Elves, they have this huge reserve which is coming back to the battlefield, because at the moment the balance power is quite heavily against them, but Taurox is going down, and that is massive right here. He is running for his life. He did a good job, but down the beast does fall. Oh, look at him. No, he's like, he can't believe it. He's like looking at the blood like, I can't die. I thought I was the main character of this story, but I'm afraid this is Morathi's video. Scourge Runner chariots still have decent ammunition and can focus down the Eye of Morslib now. Centaurs as well as the Ungors need to protect this beast and allow it to dish out the damage to the remainder of the infantry. We've got a few Dark Elf units which are rallying, coming back to the cries of, I suppose there's no leader anymore. One of these Centaurs probably taking charge, bellowing to try and keep the troops in line, because the Eye of Morslib isn't really listening. He's pulling back for now. Morathi did get a decent engagement on the Centaurs with great weapons here. Up to 156 kills, still going relatively strong into this late game, and you can see the Scourge Runner chariots just running their way through all of this Beastmen infantry, trying to hunt down the Ungor Raiders. The Eye of Morslib seems to be going down here, down to just 696 HP. It does break, and I'm sure the Scourge Runner chariots will run him down and put him in a rather large coffin. Morathi down to 1,366 HP, but she probably has another Soul Sealer lined up and raring to go, which will get her to a healing cap once more. And unfortunately, the Beastmen, they don't really succeed with infantry. Their single entities kind of carry them, with the infantry to saturate those big entities so they can get that good value, distract the enemy, get into back lines and all that good stuff. So when you only have infantry like this left, low tier infantry of Ungors, Gors, Raiders, you're not going to be having a good time, particularly up against chariots. You can see Swords pushing in now, and there's still 59 Sisters of Singing Doom running down these Gore herds, poking them in the bums and dragging them down to the dirt and mud. They're going to turn their engagement and their wrath now onto the Ungor Raiders. They do manage to rampage them as they were trying to fall back, so unfortunately they cannot shoot in. And the Squadron Chariots probably want to just go for a rear charge here and start breaking up these units. The Beastmen leadership is very fragile right now with the death of their lord. And the I've also down to -17. Probably no need to chase him anymore of MORATHI. He should force himself off the board. But killing him early also will help push that balance of power more and more in favour of the Dark Elves. But everywhere you look, Beastmen units are just sprinting for freedom. They're running to save their lives from the evil mistress and goddess of war, MORATHI. 157 kills. She is now probably, in my humble little duck opinion, the best Dark Elf Lord in every single matchup. Yeah, I said it. I said it. I'm not a Dark Elf main though, so maybe there's one or two where the other characters are better. There's certainly matchups where they're viable, but MORATHI is just not bad in any matchup. She is so powerful, and I absolutely love it. I'm sure the MORATHI simps do as well, and the Beastmen break and bow before their new mistress. A Pyrrhic victory though, it was a close game. Well played to these two champs, Cry is Free and Narthington. Oh my god, I'm going to keep butchering that name. When you see someone not bring a caster, you always worry, but he had some pretty good micro and got some good engagements, almost carrying the day there with Taurox as well as that Wargore. Well played to Cry is Free as well. We will go through the damage dealt, damage value, and do a little bit of a breakdown in just a second. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to give the video a big fat thumbs up and subscribe for more glorious Total War Warhammer content. We drop a video or stream every single day, and sometimes two. You never know your luck. Feel free as well to comment down below what you think of the new and improved MORATHI. Not heavily buffed, but still certainly buff and all aids. And yeah, let me know down below what you thought of the battle, some of your new favourite units from the DLC, what you'd like to see in the future, or if you have nothing to say, feel free just to yell quack at me. I really enjoy reading the comments. They're actually super inspirational. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, when you see people enjoying your content, it really does want to inspire you to make more and try to make better and better stuff for you guys. There are links down below in the description if you would like to join my Discord, where you can submit replays, just like Cry is Free here. I do get sent a lot, so don't get disheartened if your videos don't get on the channel. Keep sending them in, and I'm sure you will indeed get there. There's also tournaments and events I host there. You can keep up to date with the channel and all that kind of cool stuff. There's also links down below to my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel, and my Games Planet account, where you can get this DLC, Total Warhammer free, basically any game on Steam at a discount to you guys, which obviously is always really useful. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. So, MORATHI, 157 kills, 14,685 damage dealt, 2,318 damage value. She really is a big pain in the butt, but she does still cost quite a bit, so you expect her to get this type of value if she's going to be paying for herself. This was a really fun battle, that's why I showcased it, but I have been seeing MORATHI get over 3,000, 4,000 damage value. She is so good with the Soul Season. It's the only spell you really need to bring from her. So the Blix Swords across the line just kind of died. The Witch Elves didn't do great, but the Sisters are singing Doom. 1,130 damage value, performing absolutely amazing. Dark Riders were just used to chase down the enemy. Squadron Chariots, always amazing. 1.2, 1.1, 595 damage value, and the Manticores 470 and 908 damage value. Their problem today, of course, was trying to snipe out the Cygor. It's a really tough combatant to snipe, and then when Taurox got back in action, it was all over for them. And Taurox the Brass Bull, though he was on the losing side and died about 3/4 of the way through the battle, still got 2,036 damage value. That is some amazing stuff by him. Wargore got 1,015. Ungors didn't do too great, neither did the Gore Herds. I mean, one got 1,000 damage value, the other 110 kills, so not too shabby at the end of the day. Ungor Raiders didn't perform super well. Centaurs, on the other hand, performed much better. 840 damage value and 652. Tuskor Chariots, unfortunately, just got kited down by the Scourge Runners. And I think Scourge Runner Chariots are MVPs in this matchup now. You can kite enemy chariots, Centaurs, large beasties. They'll do it all. They can also run over the infantry. So they're a really good counter to the Beastmen faction at the moment. The Chaos Warhounds of Poison unfortunately didn't perform too well, but the Eye of Morso did really solid work today. 1,411 damage value, despite not having any elite infantry to focus fire down, and that's where he does indeed shine. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.